I've always said something that probably not. But yeah, I think there probably is some just causes that cause us to have a piece of upset. But it doesn't say it's impossible not to patch it up. I mean, whatever is going on. It's interesting talking about leaving your gift at the altar. Kind of like the whoever's here in a second. I think the other verses does. It's easier to remember. You got to take care of yourself first. Instead of complaining and dropping and figuring out what she's not doing or is doing. What am I doing? What am I not doing? We have a conversation about his jobs and her jobs. There are certain things that I do and certain things that she does. And sometimes those get forgotten. Not care. It does make a difference, though, like it does as Christians. Especially if you're blessed and have a Christian life, that makes it a whole lot easier. We weren't both Christians, it'd be a whole lot tougher. I think that's one thing the world struggles with. We used the word earlier, mistreat each other as Christians. Our prayers could be cut away. Dustin, if you'll go ahead and just, if you'll read Matthew chapter 6, 14 and 15 for us. And then Rachel, go ahead and get 1 John 3, 22, 23 for us. That's the next two verses there. Matthew 6, 14 and 15.
For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. If you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses.
So it matters. Do we forgive one another? Do we forgive those in the church? Do we forgive those in the world? That makes a difference on how the Heavenly Father will forgive us. That's in that verse, in that chapter 6, apparently there's been a study or something, hypocrites, because I've got the word hypocrites highlighted in the next 2 or 3 verses, several chapters there. We shouldn't be hypocrites when we pray to God. We ought to be as open as we've ever been. Knowing God sees and knows everything. And then Rachel, 1 John 3, 22 and 23.
And whatsoever we ask, we receive of him. So we keep his commandments and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. And this is his commandment, that we should believe in the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and love one another as he gave us commandments.
Love one another. The author adds, to close out that section, he has a little, saying that we might be thinking about when I call on the Lord in prayer, I will never be put on hold. I will never be asked who is calling. I will never get a busy season. But if I'm not getting along with other Christians, I will, in essence, hear the author say, to the static of my critical mark, I'm sorry if the line is out of order. That might be rewritten to today's language that you have no bars, you have no service, with cell phones in everybody's hands. Times have changed, but God does the same. Your communication has been cut off. What did we do? What are we doing to get it restored? I already mentioned ice storms and blocking the road. When the power lines go down and lose your phone or your electricity at the house, things can get exciting tough and quickly. We're used to having communication lines open. What about our prayer lives? When we've done something or doing something that we shouldn't, we lose that connection with God. It should be an emergency. Any comments about this first paragraph? Being at odds with other Christians could hinder our prayers. Going to the next section there on top of page 25, it says, the prayer that is prayed might be the cause of my struggles. We've already talked about the verse that Rachel just read, talking about asking, and we're going to get into this more and more here in these next paragraphs. George Bailey once said, we cannot by prayer stamp stars for the heaven. We cannot by prayer transform winter suddenly into springtime. And we cannot, by prayer, cause the sun to rise in the west instead of the east. Clearly, there are limitations to prayer. Unfortunately, some of our limitations are self-imposed. Self-imposed by the way that we pray, or to be more specific, the requests that we are making for God. Then he goes into examples. We might not be asking. Number two, we might have quit asking. And then we might not be asking, or we might be asking for the wrong thing, and we might be asking in the wrong way, for number five. Number four, we'll get to that probably next week, hopefully. Differences in the way that we're asking, what we quit asking for, and several verses here that we want to read into drive that point home. Eric, if you'll go ahead and get the next verse, James 4, verse 2.
You lust and have not. You kill and you desire to have. You cannot obtain. Fight and war, yet you have not, because you ask not.
All those things we do, especially all the way up to fighting and having war with each other, but we don't ask in prayer. We don't ask God for His guidance. This next story is very simple, but it drives the point home very clearly, I think, sometimes. It says, son came to his father in disappointment. Dad, I've done all that you told me to do, but I can't move that big rock in the backyard. And the father asked, have you done everything you know to do? Yes, sir, said the boy. And no, son, replied the father. You haven't asked me for help. It's very, very simple to think about that. It should help us as we pray throughout the week, even today. Realize God can do what we can't do. Keep praying, keep asking, keep searching, keep looking, keep working, but keep praying. And it says, with Jesus as our high priest, God bids us to come boldly to the throne of grace. There to obtain mercy and find grace, help in a time of need, to be restored. That word boldly, how do you take meek and lowly in heart and boldly and meet those together? Can you be both? I think we can. In certain situations, we need to understand we do have a Heavenly Father that's the King, and we're praying through His Son, Jesus Christ. We should be confident. I think that's the word that I think a little bit more of the bold. That our prayers can be heard, our prayers can be answered if we ask in faith. The next verses is Philippians 4, 6. Kurt, if you would be Philippians 4, 6, 4. Again, use the same phrase you started by asking.
Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God.
Let your request be made known to God. Ask, seek, and knock. And then another phrase there in Matthew, end of the Sermon on the Mount 7, verse 7 says, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened to you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom his son asked bread, will give him a stone, or asking fish, will give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good gifts to them that ask him? To them that ask him. What are we asking for? Are we asking for the right things? We need to look at never doubting what his ability is. Bobby, what is, if you don't mind, go ahead and get Luke 11, 9, and 10.
And I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened.
it's exactly the same, obviously the same, occurrence, in a different word, but the same idea. What, everyone asks and receives, and gives seek and find, and the other knock and shall be open. We keep on as our answer into the next phrase, the next section there. Not quitting to ask. In reverse order, we're to knock the door of God's throne room, seek His presence, and ask for His help.
David, why does God require us to ask Him? Does He know what we need already before we even ask?
Yep. He knows it. He knows it. I think it's kind of the I'm not going to say the nature of God, but that's kind of where I keep heading back to in my mind, thinking about it, that He is all powerful. He knows what's best for us. Providentially, He will do that. But we need to be thinking like He's thinking, righteously about the prayers we're asking. And then, this is one thing about the prayers, some of them are answered, some of them are not answered. They do what's best. There's a phrase coming up, I think, in the next page or two about what I prayed for, what I got. What I prayed for, what I got. And everything I asked for was different than what I prayed for. And other than just the idea of the Father, like we talked about, having to ask the Son, having to ask the Father for help, being God's nature, maybe I don't know.
I think it deals with our spirits. How if we are consuming our own power and consuming how we do things, and that we're stubborn and want to get it done our way. I know as a teacher, when I have students that are struggling, the majority of them won't ask for help. All they've got to do is say, "Hey, I don't understand this, can you help me?" And I'll be glad to do it. But the ones that sit there and struggle all the way to the end, and the last day of class, what do I need to do to pass? And like, where was this week 2 when this started? You won't help now. It's the humble spirit that God wants us to have, and not rely on ourselves so much when we ask. He knows what we need. It's just, do we know that we need Him more than we need ourselves?
That's a good way of thinking about it. I'm one of those people who never ask. If I'm struggling, I'll try to work it out myself. And, that's probably one of the issues that I would say probably many of us have, especially in prayer. We'll try to fix it ourselves and do it on our own. And then we finally with prayer or turn to God. Hopefully, it's too late. But if we tried everything we can do, then we realize we're too weak. That's a good point. Think about that. God probably already knows what we need, even before we ask. But we need to ask. Several verses there talk about the asking, seeking, knocking. All being verbs, all being action verbs. So there's things on our part we need to be doing. Any other comments? Number 2, we might have to quit asking. Our difficulties with prayer may come from our failure to continually ask God for help. Again, we're taught ask, seek, and knock, and it shall be opened. Each of these words translates a present imperative verb to English, thus suggesting that it is imperative that we keep on asking, keep on seeking, and keep on knocking. In the Old English language that the King James translated in, we all know the ETH on the end of it. It means continual, and he continues to ask, prayeth, I guess, is the actual word that means to keep on praying, keep on keeping on. 2 parables emphasize this principle that we're taught. First, there's the story of the man who came to a friend and received all your requested because his persistence. Lois, if you go ahead and read for us Luke 15, 5-10. Excuse me, yes, Luke 11.
He said unto them, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go unto him, shall enter and say, trouble me not, the door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee. I say unto you, though he will not rise and give me him, because he is his friend, yet because of this inquiry he will rise and give him as many as he needeth. And I say unto you, ask and ye shall be given you, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and unto him that knocketh it shall be opened.
Overlap a little bit of what Bobby read, I think. But the key there goes back up and basically points out that the friendship that it's not, it's a trouble. His father troubled me not, the word is now shut. But because he is a friend, he'll get up and give what he needs. Human nature would be go away, leave me alone. But God's nature is I will supply, basically. And whatever, especially our physical needs here, sharing one another, the friendship that we have in this world, sometimes is a great blessing that we don't take take hold of like we probably should. A friend, the word friendship, fellowship, all those things kind of coexist or hopefully coexist with a Christian attitude toward each other. Second, there's a story of the widow who received what she had because she literally translated kept on trouble. Sister Nana, who gives Luke 18, 1 through 5 for us? Luke 18.
And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men might know that he is not honest to trade, and not to think, saying, there was in a city a judge, which feared not God, neither did honor him. And there was a widow in that city. She came unto him, saying, Mention me not and mercy. And he would not for a while, but afterwards he said, then he said, though I fear not God, or regard man, yet because this would trouble me, I will avenge her, lest I her in your coming. She wearied.
This Rob left the room, but this woman kept kept on bothering man to the injured, and finally, just to basically put her out of his life and to move on, he was injured. It's interesting when you think about this parable. It kind of brings on a separate side, even like the world, what the world sees when we give up, when we give in. I think the verse 1 there, talking about when he spoke this parable to them, I don't think I've ever had remembered this, maybe I shouldn't. It talks about faint. The men ought always to pray and not to faint. And our cross-reference to American Standard to lose heart. So you lose heart, you give up, quit trying, quit trusting in the Lord, and then those things happen. But this widow in this case received what she wanted, but she kept on keeping on, kept on asking. If you think about the attitude of a beggar, they keep begging. They have nowhere to go. They're at the bottom. And think about on the other side, being blessed, how blessed we are most of the time. And we take it for granted if we're not careful. Let's go look up the Colossians 4 reference, verse 2. It says, continue in prayer and watching the same with thanksgiving, with all praying also for us, that God would open to us the door of utterance and speak the mystery of Christ, for which I am also in bonds, that I may make it manifest as I ought to speak. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time, that your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer every man. Kind of interesting. Answer every man. Keep our prayer life powerful, if you will, and answer those that need our answers. those that need our guidance, those that ask for our guidance. I think it's one of the key things. If we can find somebody that's asking questions about Christ, about the church, about Christianity, that's the people that are at least thinking that they could use some help. Many times I look at as I've gotten older, there's been a lot of times that the ups and downs, I guess, of life have taken different things, different directions, I guess, in prayers. And some things we used to pray for, we don't pray for much anymore. But as we get older, those things we pray never happens, they become more and more focused. As we have children driving down the roads, we pray totally different prayers. They pull out the driveway. It changes. I think it's one of the things that we talk about not giving up. Don't ever give up, especially when someone's old. Any thoughts or comments about these last parables here about remembering, keep on trolling, not letting up, and not fainting? If not, bottom of page 25, we've got a few more verses we'll look at. It says, we too are to pray always without perseverance and supplication. Trina, who get Ephesians 6:18, and Linda, Romans 12:12. Carrie, who get Colossians 4:2, and Ron, 1 Thessalonians 5:17. And I'll finish it up today, probably getting Genesis 18. With all perseverance and supplication. What does Ephesians 6:18 say?
Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
What was the last word?
Saints.
All saints. That was kind of where I think I was leading into this morning's thought. Sometimes we do need to pray in generalities. We can't name everyone, especially all the saints, but we know they're out there. They're working and praying just like we are praying hopefully for each other, and individually and globally. If you think about the kind of phrase I was thinking about. The next verse there was Romans 12:12.
Rejoicing in hope, patience in tribulation, communication in good, instant in prayer.
Instant in prayer. I think that's one of the key words to drive home this week. We think about prayer. How quickly do we go down in prayer? Hopefully, it's not forced habit. Hopefully, it's something that we can do quickly and without hesitation. And then Colossians 4:2.
Continue in prayer and watch in the same with thanksgiving.
I just read this article. Continue in prayer. In 1 Thessalonians 5:17.
Pray without ceasing.
One of the shortest verses we're going to read today, but probably one of the more important ones. Pray without ceasing. The last reference there at that page talks about Abraham back in Genesis 18, 22 through 33. It says, and the men turned their faces thence and went toward Sodom. And Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous and wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous men within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare this place? 50 righteous that are therein. That be far from thee to do this after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And the Lord said, if thou found 50 right in Sodom, 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all that are in the place for their sakes. Abraham answered and said, behold, now I have taken upon me to speak to the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. Peradventure, there should lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy the city for lack of 5? And he said, if thou wilt find 45, I will not destroy it. And he spake unto him yet again, and said, peradventure, that there should be only 40 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 40's sake. And he said to him, oh, not let the Lord be angry, and let me speak. Peradventure, there should be 30 people found there. And he said, I will not do it if thou find 30 there. And he said, behold, now I've taken upon thee to speak for the Lord, peradventure there should be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy for 20's sake. And he said, oh, let not the Lord be angry. If thou speak yet once again, peradventure 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy for 10's sake. And the Lord went his way as soon as he had left communion with Abraham. Abraham returned to his place. And then verse 1 of chapter 19. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat at the gate of Sodom. We know what happened there. 10 righteous people was all they needed to save Sodom and Gomorrah. Hopefully, God goes to our realm, the Lord returning, destroy the world. Are there 10 righteous congregations? Are there 10 righteous people? 10,000, whatever the number is. We want to be those that continue to work for the Lord as well in righteousness and pray. It's interesting. As I read that, it's almost like Abraham was making a deal with God, and God said, finally, that's enough. And but it was went his way and stopped speaking with Abraham. Keep on keeping on. Don't ever give up. We'll draw a line there. I guess the point I was thinking about was on the middle of page 26. We'll pick that up next time. Do appreciate the readings, the comments, especially your attendance today. Thank you very much. You look well rested. Can't see.